I stared at the text from my sister Natalie for what felt like the 100th time, my mind refusing to process what I was reading. Due to venue restrictions, we had to make some difficult cuts to the guest list. I'm sure you'll understand. Difficult cuts? I wasn't some long-lost family friend or a colleague she barely knew. I was her brother. The same brother who had helped her through countless breakdowns, job losses, and life crises. And now I was just cut? A hollow laugh escaped my throat. This had to be some kind of mistake. I tapped my sister's contact and called her directly. When she didn't answer, I tried my mother instead. "Hey darling," Mom answered cheerfully after 2 rings. I skipped the pleasantries. "I just got a message from Natalie saying I'm not invited to her wedding. Please tell me this is some kind of joke." The silence that followed told me everything I needed to know before she even spoke. "Oh, Alex," she sighed with that patronizing tone she always used when she thought I was being difficult. "It's just a wedding. Don't blow this out of proportion." Just a wedding? Heat rose in my chest. Mom, I'm her brother. Her only brother. How am I not invited to my own sister's wedding? She made a dismissive clicking sound. "It's nothing personal. They're trying to keep numbers down." Numbers down? I just saw Natalie's Instagram post about having 200 guests. Another pause, followed by an awkward laugh. "Well, these things get expensive. And they probably assumed you wouldn't mind missing this one." The words hit me like a physical blow. Wouldn't mind? After everything I'd done for Natalie? When she got evicted from her apartment, I was the one who let her crash on my couch for 3 months. When her ex cheated on her, I was the one who stayed up all night listening to her cry. When she couldn't make rent, I was the one who silently covered half of it without expecting repayment. You think I wouldn't mind being excluded from one of the most important days of my sister's life? My voice was unnervingly calm. "Now, Alex, you're being dramatic," Mom sighed. "It's a single day. You're overreacting." Overreacting. That word again. The same word they'd used my entire life whenever I expressed any hurt or disappointment. I was always expected to be the reasonable one, the understanding one, while Natalie could do whatever she wanted. I knew exactly how this would play out. I'd protest. Mom would dismiss me. Natalie would eventually give me some half-hearted apology, and I'd be expected to forgive and forget, just like always. Not this time. "You know what? You're right. It's just a day," I said flatly and hung up. I stared at my phone for a moment, a strange sense of calm washing over me. If I wasn't important enough to be included, then I wasn't going to sit at home feeling sorry for myself either. For once in my life, I was going to put myself first. I opened my laptop and began searching for flights. If Natalie was having the happiest day of her life, then I was going to have the best week of mine. Within an hour, I had it all planned. A luxury resort in Bali, complete with a private villa overlooking the Indian Ocean, daily spa treatments, and access to an exclusive beach club. I'd always told myself such an extravagant trip was too expensive, but now it felt like exactly what I needed. This wasn't just a vacation. It was a statement. When the wedding weekend finally arrived, I was already settling into my first-class seat, champagne in hand. I couldn't resist posting a photo. Legs stretched out, bubbling flute tilted just so with the caption, "Apparently I didn't make the final guest list cut. I think I'll survive." The reactions came flooding in almost immediately. My cousins sent laughing emoji reactions. My Aunt Diana, always the voice of reason in our family, commented, "Good for you, Alex. Should have taken me with you." But the best response came from my mother. "Where are you? Are you seriously missing your sister's wedding over this? You're being childish, Alex." "Childish? I was just getting started," I replied with a photo of the airplane window view. Clouds like cotton candy stretched beneath a perfect blue sky, and wrote, "View's not bad from up here." Then I turned off my phone. I was done letting them make me feel guilty. For once in my life, I wasn't putting my family first, I was putting myself first, and it felt incredible. By the time I landed in Bali, any lingering doubts had completely vanished. As I stepped out of the airport, the humid tropical air enveloped me like a warm blanket, carrying scents of frangipani and salt water. A sleek black car was waiting, my private transfer to the resort, complete with chilled towels and coconut water in the back seat. This was definitely better than a wedding. As we drove along the coastline, I realized how right I'd been to do this. Back home, my family was probably bustling around getting ready for the big day. My mother was likely making excuses for my absence, while Natalie was surrounded by her bridesmaids, not giving me a second thought. But here, I wasn't an afterthought. Here, I was the priority. My priority. The resort exceeded every expectation. The open-air lobby featured soaring bamboo architecture, with fountains that seemed to flow straight into the ocean beyond. I was greeted with a fresh orchid lei and a welcome drink before I'd even checked in. My villa was straight out of a luxury travel magazine. A private infinity pool that appeared to spill directly into the ocean, floor-to-ceiling windows that framed the turquoise waters, and the most inviting king-size bed I'd ever seen, draped in crisp white linens. I dropped my bags, stepped out onto the private deck, and simply breathed it all in. Then, because I couldn't help myself, I took a panoramic photo and posted it with the caption, "When one door closes, another opens to a private villa with unlimited tropical cocktails." I knew the photo would make its way back to my family, and honestly, I hoped it would. For once, they could understand what it felt like to be left out. And I was only getting started. My first full day in paradise was absolute perfection. I began with breakfast delivered to my villa, fresh tropical fruit, coconut pancakes, and coffee so rich it made me question every cup I'd ever had before. Then I spent the entire day doing exactly what I wanted. No responsibilities. No family drama. Just me, the sun, and a schedule devoted entirely to my own pleasure. By afternoon, I was lounging on a daybed by the infinity pool, a lychee martini in hand, watching the waves crash against the volcanic shore. Occasionally, I'd glance at my phone, not to check in with my family, but to see the growing number of reactions to my paradise posts. The comments were priceless. Cousin Ryan. Dude, where even is this? Aunt Diana. Now you're just showing off. An old college friend. Man, take me with you next time. Then I received a notification that made me smile. Natalie viewed your story. Now she was paying attention. I could just picture her sitting in the bridal suite, sipping cheap Prosecco, scrolling through Instagram, only to see me living my best life while she stressed about her centerpieces. Perfect. I leaned back, took another sip of my drink and thought, enjoy your special day, sis. I hope it's everything you wanted. But as the sun began to set, something unusual happened. My phone started blowing up. At first, I ignored it, assuming it was just more reactions to my photos. But then I noticed the names. Mom, Natalie, Cousin Ryan, even Uncle Peter. Call after call. Texts are flooding in nonstop. I raised an eyebrow and finally unlocked my phone. The first message I saw was from my mother. Call me immediately. Emergency. Emergency? What, they ran out of champagne at the reception? I smirked, debating whether I actually cared. Then Ryan sent another message. Bro, you are not going to believe what just happened. Now I was curious. I sat up and began scrolling through the texts, and quickly realized that the universe had just delivered the ultimate wedding gift. Because Natalie's perfect wedding had apparently gone up in flames. I scanned through a flood of messages, my smile growing wider with each one. Alex, call me right now. This is a family crisis. Mom, please, Alex. Where are you? I need you. Natalie. I stretched out on my lounger, took another sip of my cocktail, and kept scrolling until I found a message that made me laugh out loud. According to Cousin Sophie, the groom had walked out. I nearly choked on my drink. The groom left? This was better than I could have imagined. Curiosity got the better of me, and I texted Ryan back. What do you mean he left? Ryan. Dude, during the reception, total meltdown. He and Nat had a massive fight, and then he just walked out. Literally left the venue. Ryan. Oh, and then Uncle Peter and your dad got into a shouting match about who was embarrassing the family more. Grandma started crying. The venue cut off the bar early. Complete disaster. I leaned back, a smirk playing on my lips. My sister had decided I wasn't important enough to attend her wedding. And now, suddenly, I was the first person they all ran to. I could already hear my mother's voice in my head. You need to fix this. Natalie is devastated. No thanks. I opened the next message. It was from Natalie. Alex, please answer your phone. I need you. Oh, now I was important? I took a deep breath and typed a single response. Sorry, I'm a bit busy enjoying my overreaction. Hope the wedding was magical. Then I blocked her number. And my mother's. And Ryan's too, just in case he got drafted into their guilt trip operation. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, waved over the server, and ordered another drink, because while my family was in meltdown mode, I was in paradise. And for once, I didn't feel guilty at all. The next morning, I woke to the gentle sound of waves lapping against the shore. The scent of sea salt and plumeria flowers drifted through my open balcony doors. I stretched and yawned, and for one blissful minute, I almost forgot about the chaos back home. Almost. Then I checked my phone. Despite blocking most of my family, I still had over 30 missed calls from random numbers. They tried calling from every phone they could find. Several voicemails had managed to slip through. Against my better judgment, I pressed play on the first one. I don't know what you think you're doing, my mother's frantic voice came through. But this is not the time for one of your tantrums. Your sister is heartbroken and we need you here. This family needs to stick together right now. I rolled my eyes and deleted it. Next voicemail. Alex, it's Natalie. I don't understand why you're doing this. You're my brother. I need you. Please just call me back. Delete. The next one had me laughing. Dude, Ryan whispered, as if hiding in a bathroom. Mom and Aunt Kathy are planning to ambush your apartment when you get back. Just a heads up. Also, Grandma keeps saying the wedding was cursed because you weren't there. It's hilarious. That one I saved. I tossed my phone onto the bed and stepped out onto the balcony. The morning sun had just crested the horizon, casting a golden glow across the water. I took a deep breath, letting the warmth sink into my skin. Back home, my family was scrambling to do damage control. Meanwhile, I was here in a plush robe, sipping freshly brewed Balinese coffee, enjoying the best decision I'd ever made. And the sweetest part? They were finally feeling what I had felt when they cut me out. Unwanted, forgotten, left behind. There was a certain poetry to it. But I wasn't finished yet. I grabbed my phone, took a photo of my breakfast spread. Tropical fruits arranged like a rainbow, fluffy coconut pancakes stacked high, and a mimosa that sparkled in the morning light. And posted it with the caption, starting my day stress-free. Hope everyone back home is doing all right. Then, just for fun, I scrolled through my blocked messages, grinned at all the missed calls, and ordered a second mimosa. I had no intention of calling them back. Let them clean up their own mess. I was on vacation. By midday, I was relaxing under a private cabana, enjoying a rum cocktail garnished with an orchid, when my phone vibrated again. This time, the message came from Sophie. Look, I know you're mad, and honestly, you have every right to be, but you have to hear what happened after the wedding fell apart. Call me. You're going to love this. I raised an eyebrow. Sophie had always been the only cousin with her head screwed on straight. If she said I needed to hear something, it was probably worth my time. So against my better judgment, I called her. She answered on the first ring. Oh my God, you're finally answering, she exclaimed, barely containing her glee. Are you sitting down? I glanced around at my luxurious cabana, the endless ocean before me, and the cold drink in my hand. Yeah, I think I'm in a good place for whatever this is. Sophie let out a breathless laugh. Okay. So after the groom left, Natalie had a complete meltdown. And I don't mean a few tears, I mean full-on screaming, sobbing, throwing things at the wedding party. I smirked. Sounds about right. Everyone was trying to calm her down, Sophie continued, her voice bubbling with excitement, when Mom overheard Aunt Kathy saying that this whole disaster could have been avoided if you had been there. I blinked. Wait, what? Sophie giggled. Yes. She was saying that you've always been the one who fixes things when Natalie spirals. That if you'd been there, you would have either talked sense into the groom or somehow handled everything like you always do. I burst out laughing. So let me get this straight. The same family that excluded me from the wedding is now blaming me for not being there to save it. Oh, it gets better, Sophie said. Your mom told Aunt Kathy she was being ridiculous, and then they started arguing loudly. Then Grandma got involved, saying Natalie brought this on herself because she offended the universe by not inviting her brother. I nearly choked on my drink. Sophie was cackling now. Grandma lectured Natalie in front of everyone, saying, "If you had treated your family right, you wouldn't be standing alone in your wedding dress right now." I leaned back, smirking. "Wow, that's beautiful." "And then," Sophie continued, "your mom tried to call the groom's parents to smooth things over. His mother just smiled and said, 'This is your problem now.'" I had to set down my drink before I spilled it from laughing so hard. "So," I said, catching my breath, "where does that leave Natalie?" Sophie sighed. Still crying, still blaming everyone but herself. Last I heard, she was trying to salvage the wedding with some kind of backup plan. But honestly, there's no coming back from this. I shook my head, grinning. You know what the best part is? What? I took a slow sip of my drink. "I don't care." Sophie roared with laughter. "Honestly, I don't blame you. I just thought you'd appreciate knowing karma did its job." "Oh, I definitely appreciate that," I replied, smirking. "Thanks for the update, Sophie." "No problem," she said. "Enjoy your trip. And for the record, you did the right thing." I hung up, feeling more satisfied than I had in years. They wanted a wedding without me. And now, thanks to their own selfishness, they had a disaster instead. I raised my glass to the sky in a silent toast to the best decision I'd ever made. Then I turned off my phone and settled back in my cabana, letting the ocean breeze wash away the last vestiges of guilt. For the rest of the day, I didn't look at my phone once. Instead, I booked a sunset sailing trip, let the warm wind caress my face, and enjoyed a 5-star dinner on the beach. While my family was still picking up the pieces of Natalie's wedding disaster, I was savoring the best seafood I'd ever tasted. At some point, a thought crossed my mind. Perhaps I should feel sorry for her. Then I remembered how easily she had excluded me. Without a second thought or a moment's hesitation. Nope. I took a sip of my wine, captured one last photo of the sunset painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, and posted it with a simple caption. "Zero regrets." With a contented smile, I turned off my phone again. Let them stew. I was done being their backup plan. The next morning, I woke feeling lighter than I had in years. No guilt. No tension. No last-minute family emergency that somehow became my responsibility to solve. Just me, the sound of the ocean, and a full day of nothing but relaxation ahead. I stretched, ordered room service, and out of curiosity, turned my phone back on. Big mistake. Within seconds, my notifications exploded. "You need to stop acting like a child and call me." "Mom, I can't believe you're doing this to me. You are so selfish." "Natalie, this isn't funny. Natalie is heartbroken. Do you even care?" "Mom, we need to fix this family before it's too late." Unknown number, probably my aunt. I shook my head, almost amused at how quickly they had pivoted from ignoring me to expecting me to fix everything. Then one message caught my eye. "I know you're ignoring everyone," Sophie had written. "But you should know your mom is organizing a family meeting for when you get back. Just giving you a heads up." I nearly laughed out loud. Oh, so they assumed I would just come back and let them guilt-trip me? That I'd pretend the whole thing never happened? Not a chance. I quickly replied to Sophie. "Thanks for the warning, but I won't be there." Sophie. "Wait, what do you mean?" Me. "I'm extending my trip. They wanted to cut me out? Fine. I'm cutting myself off completely." I could almost picture her reaction. A mix of shock and admiration. A few seconds later she responded. "That's iconic. Tell me everything when you get back. Whenever that is. LOL. I grinned, set down my phone, and picked up my laptop. With a few clicks, my trip was officially extended by another full week. No family. No drama. No family meetings. Just me and the ocean. They'd never allowed me to have peace. And the best part? There was nothing they could do about it now. Before heading to the beach, I sent one final text to both my mother and Natalie. "Oh, so now you want me around? Sorry, I'm too busy enjoying my overreaction. Have fun cleaning up your own mess." Then, for the last time, I blocked their numbers. I put my phone away, ordered another tropical cocktail, and let the sun warm my skin as I stretched out on a lounger by the infinity pool. No guilt, no tension, no regrets, just peace. And it was the best decision I'd ever made.